Barrier Files is sponsored by Durham Injury Law.
After suspending death row executions in the spring of 2022 because of questions surrounding lethal injection drugs, the state now says it is ready to resume scheduling executions for the 46 people on death row. The Department of Corrections announced that it will use a drug for lethal injections that has been used in more than a dozen states. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier looks into the plans in tonight's Ferrier Files.
This is a touchy subject, strong opinions on both sides, and not just debate, because this pentobarbital protocol will probably end up in court.
Rudy Kalis is a spiritual advisor on death row. He teaches a death row Bible study. He says the news of resuming the death penalty on death row did not get a big reaction.
It's a reality, but it's not. They've all expected it. They expected that. They said that's why that new commissioner was brought in, to kill us all. And so they just roll with it.
Kalis has developed strong relationships with some of the men on death row and believes their stories could be used to help young people avoid the same fate, that they should be used to speak.
I know they committed terrible things, but what good does it do to kill another man? Let's see if he can help society in one way. Leave him incarcerated for the rest of their lives, but why kill him? What does that do?
These crimes are heinous.
For Verna White of Tennessee, Voices for Victims, it's about justice and the victims' families who have suffered beyond words.
It's really ridiculous how long people are on death row. It's torture for the victims' families, absolute torture. Not everybody gets the death penalty. And now we're talking about, crimes that are heinous, atrocious, cruel, oftentimes include multiple people that have been murdered. Society calls out for justice for those kind of crimes.
The state spent 18 months coming up with a new lethal injection protocol, but for federal public defender Kelly Henry, the state has not spent any time explaining to the public the why or the how or the details of the new lethal injection.
So there's just all sorts of questions. All we know is that they said there's a protocol. They are refusing to provide copies of it to anyone, even though in the past the protocols have been subject to public records requests. They have done a complete 180 on that for reasons that are not apparent. So I'm really troubled with what this new protocol may mean.
For Verna Wyatt, the protocol is not as important as the promise to the victims. In her mind, the death of the inmate is much more humane than the death of their victims.
I think about the way the victims died. They weren't able to say goodbye to their loved one. They weren't able to, if their lives weren't in order, they didn't have a chance to put their life in order. If they had things that they wanted to solve between relationships, they didn't have a chance to do that. And they died in a very disrespectful way, a horrific way in most instances. And then when you compare that to how their killer will die, it's day and night, in my opinion.
They get to make their peace.
They get to make their peace. They get to have redemption.
The Tennessee State Supreme Court actually sets the dates for executions, and as of today, no new dates have been set. And of course, once those dates are set, we expect legal challenges. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.